Mexico is home to some of the most chilling and historic fortresses, where the past's dark secrets refuse to fade. From ancient battlefields to prisons of sorrow, these haunted forts are filled with restless spirits that continue to haunt their walls. Join us as we explore the top 15 haunted forts in Mexico, where the living dare not tread, and the dead still linger. 1. San Juan de Ulua, Veracruz. San Juan de Ulua looms over the harbor of Veracruz, its ancient walls steeped in darkness and death. Built in 1565, the fortress served as both a defense against pirates and a prison where unspeakable tortures unfolded. Locals whisper that screams of prisoners, long executed, still echo through its stone corridors. They say the ghost of the mulatto woman haunts the dungeons. Falsely accused of witchcraft, she was condemned to a brutal death, yet her restless spirit remains, seeking vengeance. Visitors report icy touches and muffled whispers, as if the souls trapped here refuse to be silenced. Shadows shift where no one stands, and guards have seen spectral figures drifting along the ramparts at dawn. In the dead of night, the fort's true history seems to seep through every stone. A history woven with terror, sorrow, and the eternal presence of those who will never escape San Juan de Ulua. Second, Chichen Itza, El Castillo. Beneath the blazing Yucatan sun, Chichen Itza's towering pyramid, El Castillo, casts a shadow steeped in ancient blood and dark rituals. Built by the Maya to honor the serpent god Kukulkan, this site is rumored to be haunted by the spirits of those sacrificed atop its stone steps. As night falls, whispers drift on the wind, voices of priests chanting, faint but unmistakable. Visitors have seen shadowy figures moving up the steep stairs, vanishing into the darkness at the summit. Locals speak of a woman in white, her eyes hollow, her steps eerily silent as she glides across the temple grounds, a soul forever bound to Chichen Itza. Lights flicker from within the stone walls, as if the ancient gods still demand offerings while the uneasy silence stretches like a veil over the ruins. In these chilling moments, it's as if the boundary between the past and present blurs, leaving visitors caught in the grip of El Castillo's restless spirits. Third, Fuerte de San Diego, Acapulco. Perched high above Acapulco Bay, Fuerte de San Diego stands as a silent guardian, its thick walls hiding centuries of turmoil and tragedy. Built in the early 17th century to protect against pirate raids, this star-shaped fortress witnessed countless bloody battles and imprisonments. As darkness descends, visitors report hearing faint footsteps echoing through empty corridors and the spectral clang of metal on stone, as if ghostly soldiers are still on guard. A heavy, eerie silence fills the air, only broken by whispers that seem to come from nowhere, tales of prisoners who died in despair. Locals claim that a young woman's sorrowful spirit roams the ramparts, waiting for a lover lost at sea. Shadows shift along the walls, and the cold touch of invisible hands chills the unwary who dare to linger. Standing within its ancient walls, it's easy to feel trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead, bound forever to the haunting history of Fuerte de San Diego. Fourth, Castillo de Chapek. High above Mexico City, the grand Castillo de Chapek rises, cloaked in eerie legends and whispers of its tragic past. Built in the 18th century, this castle served as the residence of Emperor Maximilian, and later, Mexican presidents. But beneath its splendor lies a chilling history. Locals tell of the Niños Heroes, 6 young cadets who threw themselves from the castle walls rather than surrender to invading forces in 1847. On stormy nights, witnesses claim to see ghostly figures of these cadets haunting the grounds, shadows falling from high balconies only to vanish before they hit the ground. Emperor Maximilian's spirit, draped in royal attire, is said to roam the halls, a sorrowful reminder of his tragic execution. Strange noises echo through deserted rooms, and footsteps fall where no one walks, as if the castle's tragic past refuses to stay buried. Those who wander the corridors of Castillo de Chapek are left with an undeniable sense that they're not alone, that the castle's spectral residents still hold watch over their haunted realm. 5th, Fuerte de San Felipe Bacalar, Quintana Roo. Overlooking the shimmering waters of Bacalar Lagoon, Fuerte de San Felipe Bacalar stands as a stark reminder of brutal pirate battles and ancient curses. Built in 1729 to defend against fierce pirate raids, the fort's thick stone walls bear the weight of countless souls lost in violent skirmishes. As dusk settles, shadows stretch long across the battlements, and locals say that's when the spirits begin to stir. Whispers drift from the empty cells, the mournful cries of prisoners who perished in despair. The air grows cold, and the scent of gunpowder lingers, as if an invisible battle rages on. On moonlit nights, ghostly figures are said to appear along the lagoon's edge, pirates eternally cursed, searching for lost treasure. Some have felt icy fingers brush against them, or seen flashes of spectral lights moving between the walls. In the depths of night, Fuerte de San Felipe Bacalar stands as more than a relic. It's a portal to a haunted past that refuses to rest, forever guarding secrets too dark to reveal. 6. Henda de Chatla, Puebla. Nestled beside a tranquil lake, the red brick towers of Henda de Chatla hide stories as dark as the waters surrounding it. Built in the 18th century, this once grand estate is known for its eerie encounters and spectral visitors. Locals tell of a young bride who drowned in the lake on her wedding day, her sorrow binding her spirit to the hacienda. On misty nights, her ghost is seen wandering the grounds, veiled in white, her face pale and eyes hollow, searching for her lost love. Visitors have heard soft footsteps echo in the empty halls, and lights flicker on where no one stands, as if invisible hands turn them on. Chilling whispers ripple through the air, and shadows glide across the lake's surface, reflections of souls long past. For those brave enough to stay until nightfall, Henda de Chatla becomes a world between realms, a haunted haven where time stops, and the lost spirits of the past come alive in a ghostly vigil. 7. Castillo de Teayo, Veracruz. Hidden in the dense jungles of Veracruz, Castillo de Teayo stands as a mysterious relic of pre-Hispanic times, a stone pyramid shrouded in ancient legends and dark rituals. Originally a sacred site for the Totonac and Mexica civilizations, this structure was believed to connect the living with the underworld. Locals say that the spirits of ancient priests still guard the temple, bound to protect the secrets buried within. At dusk, faint chanting fills the air, growing louder as night falls, the eerie echoes of long-forgotten rituals. Those who approach after dark report shadowy figures standing motionless atop the pyramid, disappearing when glanced at directly. Cold winds suddenly sweep through, carrying whispers in an ancient tongue. Some claim to see glowing eyes staring from the darkness, guardians of a world beyond. For visitors brave enough to stand in the shadow of Castillo de Teayo, it feels as though they are not merely witnessing history, they're trespassing on hallowed ground where spirits of a lost civilization still reign. 8. La Morala de Campeche, Campeche. Encircling the old city, La Morala de Campeche stands as a grim sentinel, its ancient walls built to keep out pirate invaders. Yet, while it kept intruders away, it could not keep out the spirits that now haunt its shadows. Locals whisper that the souls of those who died defending the city roam the walls, forever patrolling the bastions. On foggy nights, ghostly figures in colonial garb are seen walking the ramparts, their faces pale, eyes empty, as if reliving their final desperate battles. The faint clang of swords echoes in the silence, a spectral battle playing out under the moonlight. Some visitors feel an icy chill brush past, and others have heard whispers in Spanish, mournful voices speaking of betrayal and bloodshed. As you walk along the crumbling stones of La Morala, you can almost sense the weight of its haunted history, the lingering spirits who cannot leave this fortress, bound forever to the walls they died defending. 9th, Fortaleza de San Carlos, Perote, Veracruz. Rising ominously from the mountains of Veracruz, the Fortaleza de San Carlos looms as a haunting reminder of cruelty and confinement. Built in the 18th century, this fortress served as a prison for political dissidents and soldiers, many of whom perished within its cold, damp cells. Locals claim the souls of these prisoners still haunt the fortress, unable to escape the misery that defined their final days. At night, visitors report hearing agonized wails and rattling chains echoing through the empty corridors. Shadowy figures appear, pacing the cells, their faces hollow and eyes filled with despair. A spectral soldier is often seen wandering the fort's perimeter, endlessly patrolling, his spirit locked in duty even beyond death. An unshakable chill fills the air, and an oppressive silence grips the halls, as if the walls themselves hold the cries of those who suffered here. For those brave enough to enter Fortaleza de San Carlos, the past feels disturbingly close, as though the ghosts of the forgotten are reaching out from the darkness, forever trapped within the fortress's stone walls. 10th, Castillo de Santa Cecilia, Guanajuato. Perched on the hills of Guanajuato, the grand Castillo de Santa Cecilia looks like something from a Gothic tale. Yet beneath its beauty lies a haunting that chills even the bravest visitors. Built in the 1950s but inspired by medieval castles, this hotel holds dark legends of heartbreak and betrayal. Guests have reported the ghostly figure of a woman in white, drifting through the hallways, her face sorrowful, forever waiting for a lover who never returned. In the quiet hours before dawn, faint sobs and eerie whispers seep through the thick stone walls, and some say they felt an icy touch on their shoulders, as if unseen hands reach out in despair. The shadows seem to move, following visitors as they wander the dimly lit corridors. Flickering lights and sudden chills turn this beautiful castle into a place where reality blurs with the supernatural. In Castillo de Santa Cecilia, time stands still, and the spirits trapped within its walls are destined to wander, forever bound to a love lost to tragedy. 11th, El Baluarte de Santiago, Veracruz. Overlooking the Caribbean Sea, El Baluarte de Santiago stands as a fortress of eerie history, its walls soaked in the blood of battles and betrayals. Built in the 17th century to defend Veracruz from pirates, it now guards the restless spirits of those who perished defending its walls. On moonlit nights, the sounds of distant cannon fire and the heavy footsteps of invisible soldiers echo through the fortress, as if the spirits of fallen warriors continue their eternal watch. Visitors report seeing figures in military garb, their faces obscured by time, pacing the ramparts, their hollow eyes fixed on the horizon. An icy chill lingers in the air, and whispers of forgotten prayers rise from the stone, like a mournful prayer for the souls still trapped within. Some claim to hear the faint clink of chains, a reminder of the prisoners who met their end here. El Baluarte de Santiago is more than a fort. It's a gateway to the past where the dead remain ever vigilant, guarding their secrets in silence. 12. El Fuerte de San José el Alto, Campeche. High above the city of Campeche, El Fuerte de San José el Alto stands like a silent sentinel, its stone walls a witness to bloodshed and sorrow. Built in the 18th century to defend against pirate attacks, this fort's history is haunted by the souls of those who died defending it. On dark nights, the air grows unnervingly cold, and the faint sounds of footsteps echo in the empty hallways, as if unseen soldiers still march through the fort's vast chambers. Visitors often report a sense of being watched, as if invisible eyes are following them from the shadows. The tragic screams of prisoners who suffered within its walls are said to resonate in the stillness, their spirits never at rest. Some claim to hear chains dragging across the floor or see fleeting shadows that vanish the moment they are looked at. El Fuerte de San Jose el Alto is a place where time stands still, where the past refuses to fade and the restless spirits of its violent history linger, forever guarding their secrets. 13th. Castillo de Nogales, Sonora. In the desolate hills of Sonora, Castillo de Nogales stands as a forgotten relic of Mexico's turbulent past. Built in the late 19th century, this once proud fortress is now a shadow of its former self, its walls heavy with the weight of tragic history. The fort was used to control the border, but it became a prison for many, and many never left. Locals speak of ghostly figures in military garb who wander its decaying halls, their footsteps echoing in the dead of night. On moonlit nights, an eerie mist rises around the fortress, and some claim to hear the sound of faint, anguished whispers carried by the wind. Visitors report chilling encounters, cold gusts of wind that seem to come from nowhere, and inexplicable shadows that move just out of sight. The spirits of those who died here, prisoners, soldiers, and the lost, are said to still haunt the castle, their restless souls trapped in a place that time has forgotten. Castillo de Nogales isn't just a ruin. It's a place where the past clings to the present, and the dead refuse to rest.
14. Fuerte de Loreto, Puebla. Standing watch over the city of Puebla, Fuerte de Loreto is a fort with a bloody history that still echoes through its ancient stone walls. Built in the 18th century, it played a pivotal role in Mexico's fight for independence, witnessing intense battles and the loss of countless lives. The ghosts of those soldiers, forever bound to this place, haunt the fort to this day. Visitors often report hearing the sound of gunfire and the screams of soldiers in the stillness of the night. Shadows dart across the ramparts, as if unseen figures are still defending the fort, their forms dissolving before they can be fully seen. The temperature drops suddenly in the fort's dark corners, and a sense of dread lingers in the air, as though the spirits of the fallen are watching, waiting for the battle to resume. Some even claim to see ghostly soldiers in uniform, marching along the walls, their faces twisted in silent agony. Fuerte de Loreto is not just a monument to Mexico's past. It is a place where the past never left, where the dead linger, caught forever in the horrors of the battles fought within its walls.
15th. Fortalesa de San Blas, Nayarit. Overlooking the Pacific Ocean, the Fortaleza de San Blas in Nayarit stands as a grim monument to a past steeped in bloodshed and loss. Built in the 18th century to defend Mexico's coast from pirates, this fortress now guards restless spirits who died in its shadow. The cries of soldiers who perished in battle still seem to linger, echoing through the fortress's crumbling walls. On stormy nights, the wind howls like the wails of lost souls, and visitors report hearing the sound of heavy boots marching along the ramparts, yet no one is there. Some claim to see shadowy figures near the watchtower, their eyes hollow with an eternal sorrow, forever guarding the fort they died protecting. A chilling atmosphere fills the air, and many have experienced an overwhelming sense of dread, as if something unseen is watching. The Fortaleza de San Blas is not just a historic site, but a haunted relic where the boundary between the living and the dead blurs and the spirits of the past remain trapped within its ancient walls. Whether you're a skeptic or a true believer, the haunted forts of Mexico stand as eerie reminders of the past. These ghostly strongholds keep their secrets well guarded, their restless spirits ever watching. Which one of these forts will you dare to explore? Leave a comment below and let us know which haunted location intrigues you the most.